Welcome to the deep dive. I want you to look in your wallet right now. You've probably got that piece of plastic in there, a credit card, that most people, well, they just see it as a way to manage cash flow.
Or maybe get a few dollars back at the end of the year.
Exactly. But we're here today to completely challenge that view. Our mission is to show you how that card, when you handle it with meticulous discipline, stops being a liability.
And becomes a legitimate wealth-building instrument. I mean, we're talking about something that can fund premium travel, save you thousands.
It sounds so counterintuitive, though.
It does, because the default mode for a credit card is, let's be honest, debt.
Yeah.
And we have to be upfront about the psychological game they play.
Yeah.
One of our sources, Sean Salter, he just put it perfectly.
Oh, did he say?
He said that credit cards tempt consumers to elevate their lifestyle way beyond what their income actually supports. And if you don't conquer that one temptation, well, the rest of this deep dive is basically useless.
That's the gateway. That's the first thing you have to get right. So we've broken this down into two phases for you. Phase one is all about mastering the essentials, avoiding those costly mistakes that just destroy your credit score.
And phase two, that's the fun part.
That's where we get into the advanced strategies, the stuff used by people who seem to be flying first class for free every other month.
All right, let's lock down phase one immediately. There are really three fundamental errors that we see just ruin credit profiles.
And error number one is the absolute most devastating, missing a payment. We're not talking about a day or two late. We're talking about payments reported 30 or more days late. This is non-negotiable.
It really is. And if you slip up, that late mark stays plastered on your credit report for 7 years.
7 years. It's an unbelievably long penalty for one mistake.
Think about that. 7 years of maybe lower credit access, higher interest rates on mortgages, car loans, everything. The solution is so basic it sounds boring, but it is 100% effective.
Automate everything.
Just automate it. Set up auto pay for at least the minimum, but ideally for the full statement balance. Do not rely on your memory.
Right. But just avoiding that late status isn't the finish line, which, brings us to errors 2 and 3.
Making only the minimum payment.
Or worse, carrying a balance month after month. The minimum payment it's kind of a beautiful trick by the banks.
It is. It keeps you compliant, but it guarantees you're paying interest on that balance at an incredibly high rate, 20%, sometimes more.
And going back to that quote from Salter, when you carry a balance, you're literally transferring power to the credit card company.
You're ceding control. You're giving them free rein to profit off your debt. If you're doing this, you are just not ready for phase two. You have to focus on paying that down first.
Which brings us to another critical calculation, your credit utilization ratio. I think this one is often misunderstood, but it's massive.
Yeah, utilization is just the amount of credit you're using divided by your total available credit. Simple math.
And the rule of thumb, the one you hear everywhere, is you have to stay below 30%.
Below 30. And honestly, most experts would say you should aim for 10%. Or even lower for the best scores.
Okay, let's make that real with a data point we found. It was staggering. Applicants who kept their utilization below that 30% line had a 91% approval rate for new cards.
91%.
Now, compare that to people who went over 30%. Their approval rate just plummeted, down to 66%.
That 30% line is a massive financial separator. It's the difference between having doors open for you and having them slammed in your face.
And just to be clear, if you have a $10,000 limit, that means you shouldn't regularly be charging more than $3,000 a month.
Exactly. Even if you pay it off. The date the balance is reported to the bureaus matters. You have to keep it low.
And we had an even stronger warning from Jerry Hopkins about what happens if you just ignore your limits entirely.
Oh, that's a disaster.
It's not just a fee. You can actually violate the card agreement, which can lead to penalties, or they could just freeze or cancel your account.
Which is like an atomic bomb for your credit profile. So treat the limit with respect.
Okay. So once that discipline is hardwired payments on time, balances paid in full, utilization low, you have the foundation.
But what if you're a total newcomer? Or maybe someone rebuilding their score from scratch? How do you even get in the game?
That's the perfect entry point for this next part, and the answer is the secured credit card.
It's a really ingenious mechanism. It completely de-risks the situation for the bank.
How does it work exactly?
Well, a secured card requires you to put down a cash deposit up front. That deposit acts as collateral, and your credit limit is usually, 80 to 85% of that deposit, sometimes 100.
And it's so important to see how this is different from a prepaid debit card. A prepaid card is just your money. This doesn't build any credit history.
Right. The key to the secured card is that the issuer reports your activity every month to the credit bureaus. Your payments, your utilization. That's how you build a positive history.
And the goal isn't to stay on it forever.
No, not at all. They're designed for graduation. After, say, 12 to 18 months of responsible use, most banks will just transition you to a standard unsecured card and give you your deposit back.
We saw that Discover even starts evaluating that return after as little as 6 months.
Which is great. Then there's the other side of this. Newcomers to the country. Immigrants, foreign workers who might have perfect credit back home.
But that history just doesn't exist in the US or Canadian systems. It's like they're starting from zero.
The first barrier is just documentation. In the US, you pretty much need a social security number, an SSN, or an ITN just to apply for anything. That's step one.
But I was fascinated by how some global banks are trying to solve this. We looked at the Scotiabank Start Rate program in Canada. This isn't just a secured card.
Now, for eligible newcomers, they offer an unsecured card right away with a limit of up to $15,000.
$15,000 for someone with zero domestic credit history.
It's huge. A bank is essentially underwriting them for a massive line of credit from day one. It helps them keep utilization low, and it just totally changes the trajectory for their financial integration. It's a huge head start.
So whether you start with a secured card or get into an accelerator program, once you have that basic unsecured card, you enter the optimization phase.
And we have to restate the golden rule here before we go any further.
You must pay your balance in full every single month.
If you don't, just stop listening now. Seriously. Every reward strategy we're about to discuss will be a financial net loss for you. The points will never, ever offset 20% interest.
Okay, so assuming you have that discipline, the next step is critical. You have to align your card's rewards with your existing spending.
Don't change your lifestyle to chase points. That's the key mistake.
Right. You see a card offering 5x points on fine dining, and that sounds amazing.
But if you cook at home 5 nights a week and only eat out casually, that bonus is completely wasted on you. You'd be way better off with a card that gives you elevated rewards on groceries and utility bills.
A perfect example we saw was the Scotia Momentum Visa Infinite. It offers a really robust 4% cash back on groceries and recurring bill payments.
So if your biggest expenses are food and utilities, that's your powerhouse card, not the fancy dining one. You optimize the card to your life, not your life to the card.
And that optimization requires a little bit of math, especially when it comes to annual fees.
Right. The best cards often come with fees, $95, a couple hundred, sometimes even more. You have to justify that fee with the value you get back.
So here's the straightforward calculation you need to run. Let's imagine Card X has a $95 annual fee, but it earns 2 points per dollar. And Card Y is free, but only earns 1 point per dollar.
Okay, so to break even on that $95 fee, you have to earn enough on Card X to make up for it. If we say points are worth a penny each, you need to earn 9,500 extra points.
And since Card X earns 1 extra point per dollar compared to Card Y,
you need to spend exactly $9,500 a year to justify that $95 fee.
Exactly. If you only spend $5,000, you just paid $95 for nothing. Knowing that break-even point is the difference between being savvy and just paying a subscription to look fancy.
Okay, now let's transition to the really exciting part. We've got the fundamentals down. But how do people go from earning a few $100s in cash back to generating hundreds of thousands of points a year?
It's rarely from maximizing groceries alone.
No. The true secret weapon is high-volume charging, specifically business expenses. Putting huge charges on a personal card and then getting reimbursed. This is where the game completely changes.
Think about a construction company owner. They could easily charge $50,000 a month for materials.
They get reimbursed for the cash cost, but they pocket the points. 50,000, 100,000 points a month. Or think about a salesperson expensing client dinners and flights all the time.
The classic travel reimbursement hack. The employee uses their personal travel card, which maybe gives 3 miles per dollar on airfare. They pay for the flight.
And then they submit an expense report for the cash. They get their money back, and they keep the miles. That 3 miles per dollar is pure profit. It's financial arbitrage at the individual level.
So for those of us without a $50,000 lumber budget, the single fastest way to get huge point totals is through sign-up bonuses.
SBs. Yeah, regular spending just cannot compete with these massive introductory offers.
So explain what a SUB is, because this is key.
A sign-up bonus is an offer where the bank gives you a huge lump sum of points, say 80,000 points, in exchange for meeting a minimum spend in a short time.
Like you have to spend $7,500 in 3 months to get a bonus worth $750.
Exactly.
And this practice is often called churning, but I have to ask. Doesn't constantly opening new accounts hurt your credit score? Isn't that risky if you're planning on, buying a house soon?
That's a critical question.
Yeah.
And yes, it does. It lowers your average age of accounts, and it generates hard inquiries, which will temporarily ding your score.
So if you're 6 months away from a mortgage application,
Absolutely do not churn. But for someone whose major borrowing needs are years away, that short-term dip is often outweighed by the massive value you gain for the points.
and how do you manage all the annual fees that come with these cards?
The discipline is to close, or better yet, downgrade the card before that second annual fee hits. You usually have about 30 days after the fee post to get a refund.
Downgrade is better.
It's safer. You downgrade to a no-fee version from the same bank. It keeps that line of credit open, which helps your utilization and preserves the age of the account.
Got it. So once you're actively accumulating, you can layer on strategy 2, the trifecta and point pooling. This is about using multiple cards from the same bank, like the Chase trifecta.
The beauty of this system is that the cheap or no-fee cards do the heavy lifting for earning points, and the premium card acts as the redemption engine.
So you might have a no-fee card that offers 5x points on rotating categories, like gas stations. You rack up a ton of points there.
But then you transfer those points over to your high-fee premium card, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, because that card offers a redemption boost, maybe a 50% increase in value when you book travel through their portal.
So the cheap card earns the points, but the expensive card makes them 50% more valuable.
Exactly. And don't forget pooling. If you live with a partner, issuers like Chase let you transfer points to a household member. You can combine your family's entire spending power.
Which brings us to the final, and maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle, cents per point, CPP. This determines the true success of your strategy. Redemption is everything.
It really is. If you earn 1,000,000 points, but you only redeem them for a statement credit, you're probably getting 1 cent per point. So 1,000,000 points is $10,000, which is good.
But it's not life-changing.
Not at all. But if you redeem those same points strategically, specifically for international first or business class flights, you can easily push that value to 4, 6, even 8 cents per point.
So that same 1,000,000 points at 8 CTP is now worth $80,000.
That transformation is the entire point of the rewards game. You're taking a mundane task like paying for groceries and churning $500 of cashback potential into thousands of dollars of luxury travel.
So we've covered the discipline, the hygiene, the entry points, and the advanced strategies of high-volume spend, SUB churning, and the trifecta system.
The big lesson here is that credit cards are just tools. If you lack discipline, they're instruments of debt. But if you pay in full, keep utilization low, and commit to optimizing, they become powerful wealth-building tools.
Which brings us to the final provocative thought for you to mull over. We've established that accumulating millions of points often requires that massive business-level spending. But for the average person, the real challenge isn't acquiring the points, it's actually executing the high-value redemption. We know that using miles for a business-class flight can offer 4 to 8 times the value of cash back. So if you only travel economy or you routinely use your points for low-value statement credits, are you, in effect, funding the luxury travel of the hyper-optimized spender? Is the reward game really designed for everyone, or is it only for those willing to play the arbitrage game to its fullest? That's something to chew on.